Hello, let's play a bunch of daily word games. This is a weekly series in which I play word games that you may be interested in playing daily. All right. We are always starting with our bonus game, and today we are going to start with Adoptle. I used to play Adoptle every day. I'd make shorts out of it, and in fact, some of my extremely popular shorts are Adoptle solves. But I stopped publishing shorts altogether because they were interfering with my long-form views. All right. It is how I got to 100K subscribers, though. Anyway, we are guessing this dog's name. What is this dog's name? All right. I would start the short with, what's this dog's name? Very cute. So guessing names is really hard, especially pet names. So I don't play this in hard mode. But let's start with a reasonable guess. Like I usually go off the coloring, like maybe shadow or something. All right, it does start with S. The blue is in place, if I remember this game correctly. Yeah, and then the yellow is out of place. So maybe, let's see, we've got E's, I's, and U's left. Slumpy. Your name is Slumpy. Nope. All right. Also, it only accepts real words plus any names that it's encountered before. Seems that way. ST maybe? Maybe Stinker? No, I can't do Stink. I could try Stinky. Let's just do Stinky to see what's going on here. Okay, so ST, and then there's an I somewhere. STRI. We have an E still. Strife. All right, ST, something something IE. Oh yeah, the IE ending is very common for pets. We can repeat the E. Stevie. Yeah, I am Stevie. Nice. And I'm adoptable. Gray, blue, silver pit bull terry mix located in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you click the learn more about me, it does take you to the pet finder page, which is still active. So Stevie is still up for adoption in Charlotte, North Carolina. All right. I've got a story to tell, one of resilience and wagging tails. You see, I was thrown out of a window, my head taking the brunt of the impact. The other traumas I've endured are unknown, but mentally I'm an overcomer. I adore people, even though my body bears the scars of my past. Oh my gosh, why do people do that to dogs? When excitement bubbles up inside me, I run in circles, my own joyful dance. The vet suspects some brain damage affecting my sight and hearing. I'm not completely deaf or blind, but I do have my limitations. But guess what? None of this slows me down. I walk by your side, on or off leash, once I trust you. Sometimes I'll circle back and touch your leg just to reassure myself that I'm not alone. Oh my gosh. At my foster home, I've got two fellow mischief makers. They're my partners in crime, and we keep each other company. Being alone isn't my thing. I've been through too much trauma for that. So whether it's my people or my dog friends, I'm equally happy. I'm a 2-year-old, 50-pound pit bull mix with a beautiful graphite silver coat. I get along with submissive male dogs or females in general. I'm not good with cats, so please don't have any of those in the home. I am neutered, up to date on vaccines, heartworm negative. I'm also a good boy who is leash and pen trained. I do pretty well, especially if there are other dogs to guide me, but I'm not completely potty trained. We are not sure if this is because of my injuries or if maybe this will change if I go to a home with less dogs and a family that can work on firming up my potty training skills. I'm Stevie Wonder and ready to find my forever family. Maybe it's yours. I'm a goofball who adores water, splashing, swimming, you name it, I'm in. If you're patient, understanding, and willing to embrace my quirks, we'll be a match made in doggy heaven. Currently fostered in Sanford, North Carolina, but can be transported for the right fitting family. All right. Wow, that's quite the story, Stevie. Look at all the different pictures. Very cute dog. All right. Well, let's move on to Dordle. We could start with Steve. We can't start with Steve. What would it accept? Steph. I'll just start with like stomp. I don't know. I'm trying. Okay, there's an S in both words. This game, Dordle, does have third person verbs, so we could try ending in S. We could also try ending in double S. Maybe something like cress. Oh, the right word is a res word. What's left? Dress. I think that's it. All right. Left word. Could be an ES word, or it also does end in S, by the way. E and then S here might make some sense. Like tells, for example, might be accepted by this game, or it might be an answer. Bells wouldn't, because that's just a plural, but tells is a third person verb. Tears well up in your eye. It wells. I don't know. We'll try it. Okay, W and then ES. Maybe something like wines. That's a plural. Nope. Waves. I have one more. What's going to be a verb instead of a noun? So I don't think we're repeating a letter. We know we don't repeat the S. Yeah, we're not repeating a letter. Q doesn't make sense. Y, I don't think so. What's even accepted? Wages would be accepted, but that's a plural. Oh, it doesn't have to be. Wakes. Shoot, there are actually a couple options here. Waxes. So wages, you make a wager. He wages, blah, blah, blah. Wakes, he wakes from his sleep. And waxes, the moon waxes. They're all verbs. I'm going to pick wakes. Darn. It was wages. If I gone first on keyboard, it would have been wages. All right. Well, that's a tough one. All right. Just a sad situation there. Fibble. So it starts with a weave here. Every guess has a lie. I'm going to try an AVE word. If there is one. Grave. Okay, so what did we learn? First thing is that these V's contradict each other. Once you find a contradiction, you know anything that agrees between the two words has to be true. So there is an E at the end. There is no A in the word. We could, if we want to end in VE, we'd have to do this. Because the V being the lie means the G and R are correct, and that's not a word. So this is our lie. This is truth, probably. And then G, and then, I don't know, RE at the end could work. What are we, oh, the G could be the lie, actually. Let's say the G was the lie. We just end in RE. Blair. The Rockets, Red Blair. Oh, there's no A. Do I want to do RE? I could start with R. Is there like an IRE? That feels like the best one. Spire. Let's do it. All right, we know the E is true. We have a contradiction between the R's, but unfortunately we didn't learn anything new from that. I'm going to keep doing IRE, which would mean, actually, if I did that, I have to do SIRE. And I can't think of a word that does that. So I think that this R is telling the truth. This R was lying. That means the G is right. So we'd be G... Guys? Spire would have no lies. Oh. Guide, then. There we go. Okay. Hardboat saved me from that extra guess that would have been wrong. All right. Let's move on to Betweenle. We will start with guide. So the way this game works, you see this orange dot. It's halfway between the line. The numbers are more helpful, though. What we're saying is if we were to lay out all the 5-letter words, like in the dictionary, alphabetically, then the word we're looking for is 31% away from guide and 33% away from the end of the alphabet. Percent of all words. So you just don't add to 100, right? The ones above guide are the other ones that would get us to 100. So it would be, this is what, 64? So there's a 36% of words above guide. Guide is 36% into the dictionary. All right. So we're about halfway between guide and all Z's. So I don't know. I should try like an S maybe. There's a ton of RST. So that's where a lot of words clump. So I'm going to try S instead of T. How about shiny? I don't know. Just random S word I thought of. All right. 9.4% before S. I think that might put us in R. Let's try a late R just to be sure. So like RU. Rusty. It's pretty late R. All right. We could still be in the R's, but let's try an early R just to make sure. I think there's more than 5% R's. So let's try like rainy. That should go up. Oh, it went down. I don't know that there's 1% RA, but if I maybe should have done rabbi. Let's try a word that says QU though. Late QU. I don't know. Quote. Ooh. Oh wow. Do I need to jump to P? Punch. Okay, finally something went up. Ah, shoot. I don't know if I'm like early QU or late P something. Let's try the earliest QU I can think of, which I think is quack. Okay, we're definitely in P's then. But what are we doing? P, is there enough PUs? Pus? Pussy? Like the wound is full of pus? I know that says something else. We're not talking about that. How about purse? All right. Puppy? I don't know. Is there another PUR? Purer? Okay. What is going on here? Pure. It's not puree. So 0.02 is about 2 words. About. I think it's like 0.012 is one word, and then does some rounding, so it's hard to know exactly. But it's about 2 words, and we know that pures is the next one, so it's the one right after pures. Sort of puree or something. All right, so PURFG, purge. There we go. Okay, well. Purge in 11. I had a hard time getting to P there. I way overshot. I thought we were in the RST range. Definitely not, though. Okay. My instinct for this game is not great because I only play it once a week now. Let's move on. Word 500. We will start with purge, which was the answer to Betweenle. I'm going to use the E at the end as our green, and I want the R yellow so I can put it second. So we're going to do R here, E here. Just a really common formation of words. We could do TR, trove. Why not? Okay, so we're going to say I got the E right, but there is no, sorry. But there is no R. I bring in the U. The one time I don't bring in the vowels, I usually just say it's both vowels, but maybe today it is. I was thinking about LU something E. It would also be kind of fun to guess Q, but unfortunately U can't be second. There is SQU, but we'd have to do like squee or something. It doesn't work. But I was thinking LUE. But maybe elude, like you elude capture. So if it's the vowels, then we have to either end in UE, which is possible, or we could start with U. We have N left, so maybe something like that. We could even, like, undo would be a word, but we know there's no D in this case. But I might guess it anyway, just to see if I'm on the right track here. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was hoping for, is the one green, actually, to prove that there is no U. So undo is gone, trove is gone, so there's no U or D. It was a gamble, but it worked out. We know there's no R or U. So we're using the G or the P out of place, and the E, or we could have 2 E's, or we could have the L out of place. Out of place. I'm thinking about GLE. We have A left, we have I left. PLE? What about SP something LE? What am I doing? I could use the other E, and then we would do something like, I don't know, something along these lines with a P or a G somewhere. Is this a word? We'd have to put the P here. I don't know what to do here. I liked GLE, but I just don't see a word. Is there a way to test it, even if it's not possible? Or PLE? first? G first? I'm going to guess guile. I know there's no U, so that'll help me narrow things down. 2 greens. So if I was right about the G, then there'd be no L and a second E. I don't know if I like that as much as, oh shoot, okay. Maybe having the LE ending. With a P yellow there. That'll be a PLE ending. I cannot find a word. Staple is the only word I can think of. Which is too long. APLE. Apple. Oh. It wasn't apple. E and L and one of the... Oh. I think it's... It can't be ample. How do we have one yellow? Does it start with... No, it can't start with P. Is it... Maple. It's maple. Okay. Ooh. Alrighty. Got there. As always, word 500, interesting solve. All right, let's play Polygonle. It tells us where letters repeat. This repeats here, this repeats here. Otherwise, no repeats. So this is kind of an interesting pattern. I like ing here. You can see how that looks really nice. Like shining works really well there. It is that. Okay. Gotta come up with another way to do that. Trining? Brining? No. Clining. I don't see how L works. Is it AI? Daining, laning, painting. Painting? It accepted that. There's no A. Jeez, this is very trappy. But at the same time, I don't know what we're doing. EI doesn't make sense. OI? Oining? What else can we do here? Okay. I don't know. Joining. There we go. Oh, I did work. I just wasn't thinking about the J. How many words are there? There's only 11 words. Asinine, brining, coining. Oh, coining. Joining. Quining would have been accepted. Okay. I don't know what that is. Raining, ruining, shining, twining, and whining. Ooh, okay. I didn't think of twining. Let's do the mini. Scoot. Why not? Nothing. Bleep. There's a P. What are we doing with the P there? It's not a vowel that repeats, so it could be a PP something, but what are we putting after the P is my question. PPA? HIPAA. No. We could start with P. Ooh, it could be pizza, actually. It was pizza today. I picked a perfect day to do Polygonle mini. Okay, nice. All right, let's do the symbol. We'll start with Blaze, as always. Ooh, we got all the symbols. All right. So we're going to assume there's no Z in the word. So we know that the moon isn't green. I think we're going to have an L second. And then we have to decide if we want the last two or these two to be the yellows. I think the last two is just going to work better for the yellows. So we need two of the letters from Blaze in the last two spots. Ooh, but how would we do that, actually? I actually want to guess the word alert. So this would be the A moving there, the E moving here, the L's in place. These two are new letters. Ooh. So the L and the T being in place is interesting. So, oh, this doesn't make any sense to me. I'm thinking Does this work? B-A-R. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking sun would be yellow. And then heart would be green. So we have the B-A in place. The R comes down. And then the sun being yellow means that in blaze, we can bring the E over. We can still bring the E over here. And then the last letter, it would have to be barrel. No, what would be the last letter? I don't think it works. Okay, there was a thought. I think one of these has to be gray. I don't think we're an anagram. So there are a lot of anagrams of alert, aren't there? No, maybe not of alert. All right, I don't think we're an anagram. Let's just assume we're not an anagram. So one of these is gray. So we're going to say that the heart is the gray. So actually it means we have, but then if the moon, so then the moon is our green. So we do end in ZE. And then the sun is yellow. So we would maybe do a second, end in ZE. No, hold on. Yeah. A second, end in ZE. That's all we need, right? What does that? This would be forced. If the sun is yellow, we need a letter we used in both words to go second that isn't Z or E. So it'd be the A both times. And then if this is green, we end in ZE. And that actually does mean that the E pointed here. So it works, but I need to think of a word that does this. The only word I can even think of is waltz, but that's not how waltz is spelled at all. Also, the T doesn't work. Oh my gosh. What does this? Hand. Is there another option? Can we be A something ER? Does that work? No, it doesn't work. Heart can't be green. Can heart be yellow? Okay, if heart was yellow, it probably means I swapped the A and E. And then we have another yellow here that's new, the T then. So can I do this? Would this work? Then moon would be gray. Wait. Sun would be gray. But then that would make the... No, it doesn't work. It would make the moon green. Which one of these is green? Okay, let's look at the obvious. L and T coming down as the sun being green, heart being gray, and so but then moon would be yellow, and there's no T in blaze for the yellow to work. So the obvious of sun being green actually doesn't work at all. How about sun being yellow? That would mean that a letter we used in both words goes second, the A or the E then, other than the L. So A or E second. I'll pick an E for now. And then that would mean that we end in ZE. No, that would mean what? No, the issue is we get this AZE-ish thing going on. Is there an anagram of alert that I can do? It would have to be ATERL. That's not a word. Oh my gosh. I'm either interpreting something wrong or I'm missing a case. Let's go through one by one which ones can be green. Sun being green feels the most obvious. It would mean this is L and this is T. But the issue is now either heart is yellow, in which case we need an anagram of alert with the LT in place. And I just don't see how that works at all. So, or the moon can't be yellow. Or sorry, the moon can't be green. Oh, sorry. The moon can't be yellow because we didn't use the T in blaze. So the moon is, in this case, not green, not yellow, so it would be gray, which would mean that heart is yellow, which means we need an anagram of alert. And it just doesn't work. So it would be ELA. Yeah, it doesn't work. So sun cannot be green. Can heart be green? No, because B and A can't be in the same spot. That leaves moon is green. So we actually end in ZE. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident in that. Which is annoying because I do blaze because we don't want Z's. But anyway. So now the question is heart yellow or is sun yellow? Sun being yellow makes sense because the E would then point here. So that means my second letter is something I used in both. I looked at this though, and I cannot think of a word that goes A something ZE. I just don't see it. I would feel like we'd have to have another vowel after the A. Ooh, is gauze? They accepted it. All right, so it is AZE. Our moon is green. Sorry, our moon is green. I have to figure out what this word is. AIZE? How have I not encountered this word before? Is there a different letter I can put here? AZZE? ANZE? MZE? What goes here? YZE? What's this word? The only thing my brain is going for is phase, which is not spelled that way. Not even accepted. At this point, it's tempting to just do a filler to see what other letters are in the word. But use an O and an I somehow. I can't think of a word. All right, so the way we would do a filler, so the thing we're most interested in is whether an O or an I goes after the A. So what we would probably want to do is think of a word that has the I and the O in these two spots. Or rather, puts an O, I or an O in the third spot and then uses the other I, O elsewhere. I could do an I-O-N word, maybe Scion, because it gets all new letters. So it is AIZE. What's this word? I guess I could try them all. These. I'm hoping that as soon as I type it, it'll suddenly look correct, but. Maize, like corn? Oh. Ooh, that was tough. So that's how you filler. Because we would have learned, so if this was the moon, then that means that this is green and it was in place. That's what we got. If this was the sun, then we can assume it's the O. That we're running under the assumption that this is a vowel, right? And that we're going to need to use the I or O, which was a correct assumption in this case. But that was the strategy. And if it was still a purple heart, it would mean that we don't have a vowel there. There is the danger that if it's a sun, then that would mean that SC or N went there, but that would be things we could consider. So, all right, very difficult symbol today. Let's do Fusele. We're going to start with maize. Not an amazing start. So these are orange hints. They're alphabetical hints. So this means I's in place. This means that our letter is near E alphabetically. You can see it's within 3 of E if I use the alphabetical keyboard. So it's a B, C, D, F, G, or H. Let's think about that because we have an I here. So we go I something, B, C, D, F, G, or H. ING would make the most sense to me. And then the ones that aren't orange, the opposite is true. It's not within 3 of that letter. So something like going. All right, so this was symbol-like clues. And it means that the G wasn't correct. Oh, here, I guess me anything but a real word. So we don't need to put the I in place because we're not going to get the answer here. I would like to know which of these we end in then. Ending in B, C, really not common. Ending in F or D is pretty common. So I'm going to do the F at the end and then the D here. And then let's just get some good letters otherwise. So the R, the T, the L. All right, so we probably end in FF, but we're not stiff. Oh, I didn't bring the S. That might have been nice. Cliff? No, there's no L. I did L. Is there like an H? Swift? Is there any way it's not FF? I don't see how. I think we're going to be FF. Ooh, what about thief, though? No, there's no T. The only thing about this twist is we're not going to learn what this letter color is. But I'm hoping to just get the answer. I can't think of it. Quiff? Quiff is a word. All right, it does end in IFF, but it's not. Okay, so this, I'm banned from guessing B, F, H, Q, W, or X, which means I can't guess the answer. So I can do a filler here. Things that I might want to know about. The S, the I. Oh, we already know about the I. The E, maybe? I mean, I got to use vowels in some way. C and K. I don't know what to ask about. We need an A as well. S, E, A, C. Speak. Let's try speak. None of those. Okay. This final twist before we have to get the answer, which obviously never has a twist for the last guess. We're just going to learn about greens. We won't learn about yellows. But I mean, at this point, we just got to figure out what the word is. Slight differences in what could be guessed here, but not much. Oh, maybe whiff. Okay, it was whiff. Got it. All right. Well, those are the games for today. Some interesting ones for sure. I lost the Dordle, but the story about that dog. Oh, very sad. I hope that dog finds a good home. Let me know how you did on these. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.